Thank you, Jerry, for this question. This is a good question. When is it an appropriate time to open up? So it's good to open up once you are convinced about your love, once you are convinced about your feelings, once you are convinced about your desire. That's the right time to open up. And the reason why it's good to open up once you are sure on your own end is because you want to know if the feeling is mutual. Sometimes you may have feelings for someone who is already in a relationship with somebody else while you are waiting. And maybe by the time if you keep it for too long, by the time you are saying what you're saying, you say, oh, I didn't even know. I thought you were just brother and sister. I thought you were my brother in the Lord. You didn't say anything. We've been hanging out for a long time and you didn't say anything. So some guys are takers. Once they just come, it doesn't take them 2 weeks, 3 weeks to express their intention. So if you have been running around the cycle maybe for a year, 6 months, just trying to check your feelings, someone will just come and ask her out and she'll say yes. And then you'll be like, I was planning to. So it's good to open up once you are sure of your desires so that you can know if it's mutual and then you can pursue the relationship. And if it is not mutual, then you also have time to heal and move on. All right? Bless you. Thank you, Chumizi, for this question. This is also a good question. Different people have different love languages. So that person may not speak the same love language with you. So if your love language is giving of gifts and that person's love language is acts of service, the person may be doing acts of service for you, speaking their own love language to you. So they don't think that their way of showing love to you is by giving you gifts because their own language is acts of service. Or maybe it's physical touch, or maybe it's words of affirmation. If you guys don't speak the same love language, it's important to talk about it. It's important to discuss it, to say, this is how I feel loved. That's why Love Campaign, with the love movement, we always encourage people to say, don't love me the way you think I should be loved. Love me the way I will feel loved. That's kind of like the crux of the campaign. Our mantra for the campaign, for the love campaign, is don't love me the way you think I should be loved. Love me the way I will feel loved. So it's important for you guys to eventually have that conversation so that that person can know that your love language is giving of gifts, receiving of gifts. So when you are a gift giver, you want to receive gifts. And maybe they speak a different love language. So both of you need to now discuss it, and so that you can show each other love in the way that both of you will be happy and appreciate the love. So a conversation is important, or attending a relationship seminar, marriage seminar will also help. Blessings. Naomi, thank you for this question. This is a very important question, actually. This issue of compatibility. I've done a teaching before on why I prefer suitability to compatibility. Compatibility is limited. That means we are good for each other today. We fit into each other's ideals today. But the problem is, what happens when you grow out of each other tomorrow? What happens when your interest changes? What happens when your situation changes? Some people get married when they don't have enough, and when they now have more, their interest, their love, their appetite changes. So what will you do? So I always advocate suitability more than compatibility. Suitability is That person is good for you today and will be good for you tomorrow. That means in 10 years' time, the person has the capacity to still accommodate your changes. So that's the difference between compatibility and suitability. Compatibility is good today. If you change tomorrow, they cannot fit in anymore because this is not what they signed up for. But suitability has flexibility. It's able to change, it's able to grow. So when you are looking at somebody today, imagine your tomorrow, 10 years time, 20 years time. Will I still like this person? Will I still want this person? So the key factor to these things are their teachability and their love for you. Those values are very important. The physical likes is also important, but not that important, because if with teachability there will be compromise. Compromise is that I usually don't like the movies, but because my wife likes it, I go every now and then with her. But movies are really not my thing. So because in relationship there must be compromise. One person cannot have their way all the time. It can't be my way or the highway. That's not a relationship. Anybody that has that kind of mindset should not even be allowed near another man's child. Okay? So you should have a mindset that is suitable, that can accommodate, that can be flexible, that can expand or shrink when necessary, that can compromise, in the relationship. So values are more important than things you have in common, because as a lady, when you have children, even the movie, some of the things that you like now, you may not like it anymore. So you have to look at your partner and say, is this person suitable or compatible? Does this person have the values that are most important? Are they teachable? Are they accountable? Do they communicate effectively? Do they compromise? Those are some of the factors of suitability. And once you have that, it's a go. But if they are just compatible, that means they're just good for today. Anything changes tomorrow, they change and they cannot fit in anymore. Hello, Jerry. How are you? Bless you. This is a good question. Is it purpose that should be considered first? No, purpose should not be the first thing. It's a very important thing to consider, but character, faith, character is very, very important, because the character of that person is what you are going to deal with for the rest of your life. So you must check their character. Are they nice? Are they mean? What are their values? So you want to be able to check the humanity of that person. What is their value? What is their belief? Are they superstitious? Do they believe in God? Do they have faith? Then purpose comes after that. Like, okay, what direction are they heading in life? Because if they are going south and you are going west, the Bible says, can two walk together if they are not agreed? The answer is no. So you must agree in purpose, or your purpose must complement each other. But purpose is not the first thing, because you may see, let's say, for instance, you are a fantastic drummer, and then you see a singer that is so fine, that can sing. But if that singer is nasty, don't have a good character, does not have any respect, it's not suitable. So even though it looks as if your purpose can complement each other, but this person, as a human being, can you live with this person in one space and be happy? Can you wake up to this person every day? Do you like their thought process? Do you like their form of expression? Do you like their sense of reason? All those things are very important. So character, and they're all embedded in one's character. So it's good to know one's character, then their values. But character is not personality, not what they claim to be, what they actually are. That's what you want to know. That's very important. The character of the person that you end up with is very important. And that should be foremost, even before purpose. All right? Because there are so many people who have similar purpose, but the character is not allowing even the purpose to find expression. Okay? Blessings. Hello, Shedrack. Thank you for your questions. There are many questions. First of all, I'd like to start by saying, well, so sorry if you are the one that has gone through that heartbreak after so much investment of time, effort, like you have put it. I want to say sorry about that, but in all things, you should give God thanks, because a broken heart or a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. And also, you have to understand that sometimes what you wanted so much, it may be a deliverance of God. I'm telling you. And if you did everything right in that relationship, just be rest assured that God will compensate you. And by the time your compensation package comes, you will now be thanking God that that didn't work out, because what God will give you in compensation will be so much better. And you would now be happy that, oh my God, thank God that one did not work out. If not, I wouldn't have met this wonderful person that is ideal for me and all of that. So we don't get stuck with disappointment. We just count our blessings and we move on. Okay? God will compensate. In terms of sexual immorality in the relationship, I advocate openness, communication, and understanding. If both of you have an understanding that this is not something we want to do before we get married, you will keep to it. So you would not allow situations that will allow you in compromising cases, like being, alone and in the dark, or, lack of accountability and all of that stuff. So you will stay accountable. You will stay accountable. You will avoid unnecessary, emotional meetings, but you will communicate your affection. One of the ways I've realized that helps to deflate any sexual temptation is communicating it verbally. Communicate your feelings verbally. I like you. I mean, oh my God, I love you. You're just making me feel a certain type of way. I can't wait until we get married. I realize that expressing those emotions verbally help to deflate the temptation for sex, together. So that is something that you want to consider. On your last question, I won't be able to say this is the amount of money that you should have in your account before you date a lady. I would say just have enough to make sure that you're able to pay your bills. You have enough to take care of yourself, and some to spare to be able to, take care of the lady that you're about to, go out with, and also to get married eventually too. So it be enough to be responsible, enough to be responsible. That is what I would say. Thank you, Peter Keys, for this question on intimacy. I wanted to clarify whether it was between married people. So, yes, as people get married and start having children, couples always begin to have maybe problems with, intimacy sometimes, because the women try to give attention to the children and the men start getting jealous. It sometimes is even unreasonable, in an unreasonable manner. But you should not let the marriage suffer if you have concerns. You should not let the marriage suffer because of children. So for the couple, my recommendation is find time to get out of the house, create atmosphere where you are alone. Get a babysitter, or your friend or your sister or your auntie. Make an arrangement, just one night. Go on a date night, sit down in a restaurant, look at each other like those days when you used to toast each other. Sit down, have a dinner, have lunch or something, talk about stuff. And then sometimes maybe take a 1 day break, check into a hotel where the baby is not crying, where children are not going to barge into your room, once in a month or once in 2 months, but create time. It has to become intentional. So for the people who are in relationships, we don't recommend building intimacy like that. I think we just recommend building a connection, understanding each other. That's communication is key for you when you're in a relationship. Talk about everything, ask questions and provoke each other and see how each other, people react when they are angry. That's one very important thing I always tell people. If you are dating someone, don't ever marry someone who you haven't seen how they react when they are angry. Are they peacemakers? Do they keep malice? How people react when they are angry is very important. That can be a harsh reality in a marriage, So while you are in a relationship, those are the times you want to test all of those things, become annoying if you guys haven't quarreled. Just see, because some ladies break things when they are angry. Is she going to break your TV when she's angry? Is she going to, hit something or break, so you want to know. So that's the kind of intimacy of understanding each other, getting to know each other that I recommend for people who are in relationship. But for the married folks, you want to connect physically, with physical connection. The effort that you give to physical connection builds emotional connection, like that. So creating time away from the distractions that marriage have brought into your lives. That's one of the key things. Yeah. Blessings. Eddie, this is a good question, and it happens more often than we may expect, where a man is in between two ladies, and they are nice, and, like you said, they both are deserving. They both are deserving because they have shown love exceptionally. So the determining factor is who you love. That's the determining factor. We don't marry anybody out of pity. We don't marry anybody because if you marry someone that you are not passionate about, you realize that by the time you are together in marriage, your sexual life will not be good. Your sex life will not be good because you maybe you are with her because she kisses your feet, she cooks for you, she takes care of you, but your passion is not after her. You don't have that fire, that flame after her, So you have to check your heart because it's impossible for one man to love two women at the same time. He may like them both, but he cannot have love for them both at the same time. So check which one your heart. Sometimes it's the stubborn one that your heart is even after, that your heart likes. But then one is nice to you, obeys you, does everything you want. You now realize that does not stir up your affection in the future. So you have to choose. So both of them are deserving, like you have said, but which one is your heart after? Which one is your heart beating after? That's the one you should choose. Because you should not marry anybody's child and punish them, because they were nice to you, because they showed you love. Yes, love is supposed to be mutual. So they have shown you love, but is there love in your heart? Don't use the word deserving. Use the one I love. One should say, which one do I love? The question, the answer becomes easier. All right? Bless you. All right, Shadrach. Yeah, this is it's a good question as well. One of the first ways to avoid this is to be discerning. Tell yourself the truth, because sometimes it's actually glaring in front of you, but the person is lying to you, but you are telling yourself, you are enjoying the lie because they are giving you some kind of indirect attention. They are not giving you complete attention, but they are giving you enough to just collect your money. So you have to be careful. You have to be discerning. Tell yourself the truth. That's the number one thing. You know the way a girl that loves you will look at you. And at the same time, another factor to consider is that person keeping you a secret? How many of her friends has she told? Has she told her family? That's one of the ways you know that somebody is serious about you. But if you are the one asking, when I will see your family, you have not introduced me to any of your friends. Those are one of the ways that you know that somebody is playing you, just using you as a convenience in the moment because they are still keeping you a secret. They are telling you, oh, I've not told any of my friends yet. I'll tell them. I'll tell them tomorrow. I'll tell them next tomorrow. Have you told your parents about me? When can I come to your house? No, wait first. Let's finish this or let's do that first. Things like that. So, if she's not proud of you in the public, forget it. Yeah. If she only attends to you privately and she doesn't identify with you publicly, she's not ashamed of you in the public. That is how you know. If she's not ashamed of you in the public, that's how you know. But if she's ashamed of you in the public, she's not identifying with you in the public, but she would give you attention and she's more comfortable with you in private, that's how you know. So it's always glaring, but sometimes you guys, you don't want to see it because you are enjoying the indirect attention. Because your heart is after that person. So you are enjoying the attention and that is what they play on. So be discerning and be sincere to yourself and also check some of the parameters. Okay? Hello, Deborah. Thank you for this very relevant question. It is true that young people today are becoming more afraid of getting married. So a lot of them, even some of them even cohabit together, moving with each other, and then don't make the move to get married. One of the important ways to move forward with this fear of unknown is counseling. It's good for them to get counseling. In that way, both of them can discuss their fears, and a counselor will help, mediate between the both of them to have understanding. So counseling really helps because I definitely highly recommend premarital counseling, not marital counseling, because waiting until you get married before you receive counsel can be dangerous sometimes, because some things that you would have known before the marriage that may have saved, some mistakes. If you are getting to know it in the marriage, it's too late sometimes, sometimes. So in this case, I highly recommend that this young people get premarital counseling. It will help to create some clarity and infuse some confidence or resolve any hidden concerns that they are not bearing out, because young people relationships now can be complicated, especially if they're already having sex. If they're already having sex, there's no pressure to want to get married, because why why, like they say, why should you buy the cow when you're already getting the milk? So even there's no pressure for that, and then everyone is trying to maintain independence and security and all of that. So there could be a lot of issues, underlining issues, that they are not being sincere with each other. But it's important to get counseling. In the place of counsel, some things will be clear. So I highly recommend premarital counseling. Highly recommend premarital counseling. Eddie, we must get to the bottom of this matter today. Oh Lord, it's a very good question. I've actually, been asked this question before. Whose love is more important? I would say that the both love is important. It's important for both the husband to love his wife and the woman to also love her husband. But if we have to have a preference, the love of the man is more important. We're talking about, you said there's love on the both sides, but which one should be more? So that means we have established that the woman too loves the man and the man loves the woman. But you are just asking. Because if there's no love and only one person is loving, forget about it. But what you're trying to know is whose love is more important to be better or higher, I would say is the man. It's better for the man's love to be more intense than the woman. You know why? In that way, he will keep the pursuit going. For a woman responds to kindness, a woman responds to thoughtfulness, a woman responds to pursuit. So if you chase her long enough, if you treat her well long enough, her love can increase. But a man's love is usually like it's kind of already measured, so it's better for the man's love to be more intense than the woman's love if we are choosing preference. This question is tricky, but the answer is very straightforward. The way that a woman can identify someone who is just after her for intimacy or sexual reasons and someone who really cares about her is to make sure that no sex is happening. That's one of the ways, is to make sure that no sex is happening, that's not what is put forward. Because one thing that is established as a fact is that you have a man's highest attention before sex. As a lady, you have a man's highest attention before sex. If you tell him back like a dog, jump up to the ceiling, come 6 a.m. Like when he wants you, and he will do whatever. Bring suya and coke. He's going to bring suya and coke. You have his highest attention before sex. But once he has had his way sexually, it's not the same anymore. It's not the same anymore. He may still hang around. If he doesn't have good intentions, he may still hang around until he's had a feel of all the sexual fantasy that he has with the woman, and after that he's done, and he will disappear to the other interests. That what is next, he will disappear to what is next. But if it's genuine love, there will be a way for him to show the love but not rush you for physical intimacy, even if you are tempting to him, which is good. It's good for a girl to be able to be a temptation to her husband, but he should be able to exercise that discipline until the marriage. So that is important. So let me complete the statement. For a man, you get a man's highest attention before sex, and you get a woman's highest attention after sex. That's the thing. So women, all their shakara, all the it's all before sex. Now, by the time you have sex with a woman, then she has caved for you, and then her mind is towards you, and then she wants you more. That's what happens. That's why that stuff is better left, for marriage. Even though these Gen Zs that we have now, some of these girls are like, they are like a different species, and they are not attached. They are just looking for money to buy wig and shoes and to dress up. So they for some reason the culture seem to be encouraging multiple men at the same time, which is wrong. Which is wrong. Yeah. If you need any other clarity, let me know. Well, this question, it's actually, and it's a good question because it depends on your relationship with your spiritual parent. If you trust their judgment, the earlier the better. The earlier the better. I've had situations where someone, had said that anyone I'm going to marry must spend 3 days in your house. And that technically saved his life, because when he brought the lady was beautiful and all of that, and she stayed in my house for 3 days. And during those 3 days, we realized that this lady she was not well. She was dealing with some demonic possession, and she was also mentally ill on medication. But her family didn't tell him. Her family did not tell him. They just wanted to marry her off quickly. So, but she was mentally ill. They knew. It wasn't like they didn't know. And she was even on medication. And, and she was also under demonic influence. But if you see her, she looked like Mami Wata. She was so pretty. Flawless skin and everything. So it is very good for you to, if you trust the judgment of your spiritual parent, to highlight the person by showing them maybe the picture of the person, or showing them from a distance if you are both in the same church. If you are not in the same church, take them to see them. The earlier the better. The earlier the better is what I recommend. Okay? On the issue of the second question, having 5 children and maybe the fourth one is not your own, what do you do? I still recommend counseling. So check the circumstances, check if it was just a one-time mistake, check if she was raped. You have to check the circumstances. There's no one blanket judgment for all. So you have to check if it's deliberate. You have to check if it was forced. You have to check if it was a one-time thing or if it's a consistent occurrence before you make a decision. So those things are decided in the place of counsel. All right? God bless you.